Right, we are ready to rejoice at the most wonderful time of the year. Merry Christmas, and joining me are a wise man, Chris McCausland. A shining star, Holly Walsh. A venerated virgin, Justin Morehouse. And a bit of an ass, Alan Davies. Their buzzers are all rejoicing. I will conduct you. So, Chris, if you could start us off, please. Hallelujah. And Holly. Hallelujah. And Justin. Hallelujah. Alan. Hallelujah. And because it's Christmas, I gave myself a buzzer. Now, I want you to imagine it's Christmas Eve and you're looking for a very quick present. What beats 4 calling birds, 3 French hens, 2 turtle doves and a partridge in a pear tree? Yes, Chris.
I'm going to take one for the team and say 5 gold rings.
Oh, I can't...
To be honest, I'd rather that than just have it building up inside me for the rest of the show.
No. So I'm going to give you a clue. Those were all birds, and we're looking for the next bird on the list.
6 geese are laying.
6 geese are laying is absolutely right. It beats all the birds on our list in one respect. The goose
Can fly further.
It can fly faster. Actually, to be more specific, it's a spur-wing goose. There it is, a beautiful thing. More importantly, what impact has this question had on the world?
Has it brought down more aeroplanes than any other bird?
Wow, that's horrible. No, it's not that.
Is it responsible for the shape of wings on planes?
Oh.
I don't mean it designs them, but, like...
The geese are doing the wings.
Yeah.
I've got lots of good ideas. Listen up, they can fly. Yeah.
So, the book Guinness World Records, which used to be known as the Guinness Book of Records, started with an argument about the speed of game...
Wait, so now it's called the book, the Guinness...
It's now called Guinness World Records, and it used to be called the Guinness Book of Records.
So, but it's called the Book of the Guinness World Records.
OK, the book is now entitled Guinness World Records, but doesn't have the word book in it.
Guinness Book of Records.
Yeah.
Guinness Book of Records.
The Book of Guinness Records.
Guinness World Records.
This is like STIs, STDs all over again.
Yeah.
Is the book sponsored by Guinness?
So it was originally put forward by the MD of Guinness Brewery. So it all started in a competition to decide who knew the fastest game bird, OK?
And they were having a pint of Guinness and they thought...
No, they were out hunting game birds. So there's a guy called Sir Hugh Campbell Beaver, and he was on a grouse... I know, it's very pleasing. It's a story of a man
that
called
many names,
Beaver.
that's just greed.
I know.
Also, the people would call him Hugh Beaver.
Hugh Beaver.
Sir Beaver.
Huge beaver, that's
Yeah.
what they call it. Huge, hairy Campbell Beaver. That's what they call him behind his back. Here he comes, huge beaver.
The Beaver Book of Records sounds much better.
That is better.
The Book of
Guinness
Beaver
Book-
Book of
Records.
The
Beavers.
Guinness Book of Beavers.
The Book of Huge Beavers.
Yes, World Beaver.
What's the fastest beaver? Huge.
Beaver,
Right.
as I like to call him, was on a grouse shoot in 1954, and he got into a row with a friend about what was the fastest European game bird. Very pleasingly, they had this discussion in a place in Ireland called North Slob.
That's me.
Anyway, so Beaver, who was the MD of Guinness Breweries, claimed it was the golden plover, and his friend said it was the grouse. And so they decided that there was a gap in the market for a book like this, and they commissioned Norris and Ross McWhirter to write this book.
Are they twins? Or are they just
They were
dressed
twins.
exactly the same?
They were
No, they were
twins.
twins.
They were on Record Breakers, weren't they?
One
Yes,
of them
darling.
was.
Yes, with
Yeah.
Roy Castle.
Yeah. Who do you think won? The one who thought it was the grouse and the one who thought it was the plover?
Well, it turns out it was a goose.
Exactly.
Neither
The
of
grouse
them.
is faster than the plover, but the spur-wing goose is faster than either one of those. Here's...
Well, it all depends where the wind's blowing, doesn't it, for a bird?
Yeah, I think...
I've seen birds sometimes where they're really not in control of what they're doing, and they're just trying to style it out.
Yeah,
They
just...
take off in a high wind and they're filled with regret and they
Yeah.
can't go back to the nest and they're just trying to style it
Yeah.
out, but they're being buffeted around.
And then they come in with feet like that.
Yeah.
You know, that
You see a duck landing on a pond in a high wind, that's
Yeah.
hilarious.
Yeah, that
Some
is-
birds, little birds, can go at terrific speed through a bush and then just come to a standstill on a twig We're defying all the laws of physics, whereas a duck basically needs the English Channel just to come to a stop.
So the spur-wing goose is the fastest game bird in the world. What's the problem with this?
Game birds.
Yes, it's not really a game bird, so it's only found in sub-Saharan Africa. It also eats something called blister beetles, which makes the flesh entirely toxic, so you die if you ate a spur-wing goose, and it's not really a goose. Other than that, I think it's a perfect world record holder. So the book was first given away as a promotion. They printed 1,000 copies and they gave it away free with beer, but it proved to be so popular that they decided to put it on sale. And it became a Christmas bestseller that year and every year since. And in fact, Guinness World Records holds the Guinness World Record for the best-selling copyrighted book of all time.
Sounds a bit convenient, don't you?
Yeah.
I know, as they're judging,
Of
right?
course they'd say that, wouldn't they?
Yeah.
Let's bring out the Martini book of real facts.
The Cinzano Book of Lies.
What's the only, Justin? Is it the Guinness Book of Records? And now it's a carling pamphlet of stuff.
Guinness World Records has sold over 130 million copies since 1955. But once you include non-copyrighted books, estimates are that the Bible has sold over 5 billion copies. I mean, do you think everybody must have one by now? I mean,
We've got one in our house.
We've got about 11 in our house.
Why?
Because my mum's a vicar.
Oh, that's right, I forgot. So,
Yeah.
Yes.
It's kind of the textbook.
Yeah.
Is she a very forgetful vicar? Does she keep buying them? You've already had that one, Mum. You've read it.
The great thing about the Bible is there's spoiler alert, because it's such a massive twist at the end.
Yeah, it is quite.
The 4 horsemen of the apocalypse comes out of nowhere.
Is that what it ends with?
Oh, sorry. What I like is that the Guinness World Records 1978 edition is also listed as the book most stolen from public libraries in Britain. Other Christmassy records awarded by Guinness World Records include largest group of carol singers. It was won by a Nigerian choir, 25,272 singers. This is a very good one. Fastest time, have a guess at this, fastest time to eat all the chocolates from an advent calendar in the correct order.
24 days.
12 seconds.
7.
It's a minute and 27 seconds.
What? What's
Yeah.
he doing?
I've done it quicker than that. Definitely.
By this guy, Kevin L.A. Beast Strahl. He also has the record for the most chicken nuggets, most powdered donuts, and drinking a litre of maple syrup.
Imagine, like, how many he's got to go through to get to that level.
I know.
He's probably got to do, like, 200 calendars and 50
just to
litres
get
of
there.
whatever it was, maple syrup,
Yeah.
was it?
Yeah. Fastest marathon dressed as a Christmas tree, 3 hours and 43 minutes.
That's good going.
Largest gathering of people dressed as Santa Claus was broken in Kerala in India in 2014 by 18,100.
Look at that.
I know. But you're going to love this, OK? The previous record for the biggest Santa gathering had been set in Newtown in Wales in 2004. More than 4,260 Santas went for an annual charity run, but it finished in a mass street brawl. Which involved 30 Santas slugging it out. So the elves and I thought, how hard can these records be? We decided we're going to try and break one. So first up, Holly and Chris, fastest time to put on 5 Christmas jumpers, OK? And our judge is the editor-in-chief of Guinness World Records. Please welcome Craig Glenday. Craig, what are the rules, darling, that we need to follow?
It is 5 jumpers you have to put on. If you have 1 jumper on now, that doesn't count. So, T-shirt is fine, topless is fine, but no.
Are we getting up
Let's
now?
do this now. I'll do it in this.
Tell me when you're ready, darling. And make
OK.
OK, so the... Wait.
you have
Don't
in
touch
front
them
of you-
yet.
Oh,
Don't
sorry.
touch them yet.
OK.
Sorry.
Yeah.
So they have to be on the floor.
Yeah, so in front of you are 5 jumpers. They're in increasing size. Don't touch them until I say go. And make sure it's pulled down below the waist.
OK, I might punch myself out doing this.
Right, but they need to get... It's quicker than 20 seconds. Is Holly allowed to kneel to start?
That's fine.
That's fine. Do you
As
want
long as
to...
you can't, I can't actually see, but as long as
Holly's
you're not touching the
doing it kneeling
jumpers.
down.
I can confirm.
Do you
Mr.
want to
Guinness,
kneel, Chris?
She's
No,
not
I'm all
touching
right.
the jumpers.
It brings back bad memories of church.
OK.
For several reasons.
OK.
Actually, no, Holly, I do need you to stand.
Holly, get up, you cheat.
Over to you,
Yeah.
Craig, to get us going.
3, 2, 1, go.
Go on, Chris. Go on, Chris.
The friction's killing me.
Don't fall for that. Don't look for any more.
How was that, Craig?
It was interesting. I think, Holly, you clocked a time of 31 seconds, but you didn't seem to be standing.
I'm sure.
But are you standing now, or...?
Yes.
Yeah, no, then you were shorter during the attempt, so... I think I might have to disqualify you. And also, where is
Holly.
your waistline?
This is such a personal question to ask.
You think it's bad that there's people watching this at home now going, that lad sat next to Sandy, he's already wearing 15 jumpers.
And
Chris?
Chris?
How did I do then, Craig?
You did 35 seconds. I was happy that it was a valid attempt.
Yeah.
But yes, the minimum, unfortunately, for this record, which is based on existing speed jumper wearing, is 20 seconds. So I'm afraid it's not...
Craig, can I ask a serious question, though? What is the record for a blind man putting on 5 jumpers?
I suppose right now it's 35 seconds.
Does that mean we can expect to see it in the next edition of the book?
I wanted to check that previous applicants weren't already blind.
Yeah,
Not
good
mentioned
point.
it. So if that's the case, then maybe.
You know, just because we can't read it...
Chris, he's saying maybe and shaking his head no. Just saying,
right.
just telling you. Just telling you now. Well done for trying. Very fantastic.
This is the least sexy Christmas striptease you'll ever see.
No, it's working for me.
It's like a game of Holly pass the parcel.
Make sure you stop. Well done. Fantastic. Well, I'm only sorry I didn't try. It did look like such fun. What's the most unusual place a reindeer has ever slept?
Is it Napland?
That's very good, darling. I'll give you another clue. The reindeer leaves by air but arrives by tube.
What, like the underground sort of a tube?
Eurotunnel?
Well, we're under the water, certainly.
Reindeer? An underwater reindeer? No.
Yes, an underwater
yes, an underwater
reindeer.
reindeer.
Yes.
Scuba diving.
Yes.
Submarine?
Submarine is exactly right, yes. A reindeer named Pollyanna, the only reindeer known to have lived on a submarine. In 1941, the Soviet Navy presented a Royal Navy submarine, HMS Trident, with a live reindeer as a thank you for fighting the German forces.
There's one thing I know about submarines.
Yeah.
Is that they're quite cramped.
Yeah, so this
And
was...
one thing about reindeers is
Yeah.
they've got...
Yeah.
This was the
They
issue.
probably said, look, well, can we have the money?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just... No, the captain had said his wife was having trouble pushing their pram through the snow, and the Russian admiral said, "You'll need a reindeer."
To
They
push
were-
a pram?
To pull the pram. So the Russian base where it was docked, the submarine, was called Pollyanna, so they named the reindeer Pollyanna, and they brought it aboard through the torpedo tube. And it spent the next 6 weeks on the submarine, and they had meant for her to sleep in the torpedo room, but she turned out to be rather fussy, and she ended up sleeping under the captain's bed. First, they fed her on a barrel of moss that the Russians had left. Then after that, it ran out. They just gave her scraps and condensed milk. And she also ate some navigation charts. And she became enormous. And in the end, she'd gained too much weight and had to be lifted out of the main hatch rather than the way she came in through the torpedo tube.
Fire her out the torpedo.
That would have been good, wouldn't it? Yeah. No. So she got sent off to a zoo.
At least there's somewhere for them all to hang their caps, the sailors.
That's a very good point. Unfortunately, we don't have a picture of her. We do have a picture of another reindeer. This reindeer is called Olga. There she is. She arrived at Scapa Flow in December 1943 aboard the cruiser HMS Kent, also a gift from a Russian admiral.
They are very unoriginal in their gift-giving.
I think the Russians were training reindeer to be spies.
Oh.
Yeah.
Either that or when you fall asleep, it opens and Russian soldiers
Come out, yeah.
I can't imagine hooking your baby up to the back of a reindeer.
Well.
I've been pulled many times on a sleigh by reindeer, and they're unbelievably gentle and lovely.
Yeah, but not as a small baby.
No, obviously I was a grown-up and fully in charge of what was going on.
Right.
Thought you were going to say fully grown.
No, not at all. Wow, even you making those...
You know you're short when a blind man knows you this one.
I might be able to see anything, but I can judge an angle.
Did you know, darling, that the person who created Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, Robert L. May, intended to call him Reginald?
That's the thing.
Yeah.
If we didn't know Rudolph...
It was Reginald.
Reginald would sound right. Rudolph would sound stupid.
Yeah.
I wish it was Adolf. That would be funny.
He's got a red nose. What about his task? Shut up. What about his red nose?
And actually, lots of reindeer do have red noses. Why do you think that might be?
They're clowns.
Why might a reindeer... It is a thing. Why do they have red noses?
Rosacea.
What, like...
They just have bad circulation.
Bad
in their
circulation?
faces.
No, the fact they have excellent circulation, it's to do with that.
Is it like
That's how they lure a
sexual
mate.
thing?
No.
Is it like a red light in Red Light District?
No.
The Red Nose District?
No, I'm going to stop you all. So if they breathe that Arctic air straight in, they would literally die of cold. And so the noses contain a huge number of blood vessels, and in some of them, the density of blood vessels is so great it actually turns their noses red. So the cold, dry air enters, and it's warmed by these capillaries and moistened also by a thick layer of mucus. This is astonishing. They can breathe in air that is minus 40 degrees Celsius, and by the time it reaches their lungs, it is positive 38 degrees Celsius. It has gained almost 80 degrees in a single second.
Wow.
Isn't that incredible?
That is like entering any grandparent's home.
They also cool the air on the way out. It's cooled by about 20 degrees Celsius before it exits the nose, and then they recapture all the moisture in this nasal mucus before the air is exhaled. So what it means is if a human being was to stand next to a reindeer at, say, minus 30 degrees Celsius, you would see the human being's breath, because you'd see all the bits of moisture, but you would not see the reindeer's breath at all, because they're so brilliant at absorbing all the moisture back into the body.
So if you ever see them with breath, it means they're smoking?
Yeah, or vaping.
Or vaping.
Vaping,
Yeah,
I'm going to go with vaping. Can I show you something which is extraordinary? This is them forming what's called a cyclone. So when they are threatened, they run in circles, and that makes it really hard for predators to attack individual animals. Almost always they run in an anti-clockwise manner, but isn't that astonishing? Hundreds of them running round
We're
in
looking
a
at
circle.
hundreds of reindeer running around in circles.
Like a mosh pit.
Yes, exactly like that, yeah. I think that's amazing.
So why do they do that?
Because it makes it really difficult for a predator to single out an animal. And another trick they have is that their knees click so that they can send each other sound signals even in a blizzard. So if you hear your neighbour's knees moving, starting to click very quickly, that might mean there's danger about. So they send messages through
My
their...
knees click. Maybe I'm just sending messages.
To reindeer.
Yeah.
What horrible incident involving Dijon befell Father Christmas in 1951?
Did somebody put mustard on a mince pie?
Oh, that would be bad, wouldn't it?
I love mustard.
You like mustard?
Oh, I eat mouthfuls of it raw.
Which,
Yeah,
French mustard or English mustard?
French.
Dijon.
Yes, and whole grain.
I can only eat that stuff. I can't eat the English stuff that goes up the back of your nose.
Yeah.
It burns my eyeballs.
Yeah.
Not that it matters, but... I like the stuff with the seeds in it, but did he fall into a vat of mustard or something?
No, it has nothing to do with mustard. We're talking about the French city of Dijon. It's to do with Christmas. It's the early 1950s. And the Catholic Church was very cross. They thought that Christmas had become too commercialised and it should be more about le petit Jésus than presents. And so...
Something happened to Santa.
Yes, something did happen
In
to
the
Santa.
town.
Yes.
Did he get
Did they
hung?
ban
Yes.
They hung Santa?
They hung Santa.
They hung him.
Who hung Santa?
OK, the Catholics. That's it.
Catholic?
Yes. The Dijon Cathedral in 1951, on December the 23rd, 250 school children hanged an 8-foot-tall Santa effigy.
That's so bleak. The kids turned on Santa.
It's even worse. So there's a young man. He asked the crowd, "Does Santa deserve death?" And the assembled children chanted back, Yes, 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 before setting fire to the effigy and pelting it with orange peel.
Oh, my God. It was the church.
The church did it, yes. So the Archbishop of Rennes, he said it demonstrated that the church was pushing back against the paganism which Santa seemed to bring with him.
How's that worked out for them in Dijon?
Well, the very next day there was a pro-Santa rally outside the town hall.
Oh, my God.
Santa!
Santa! Yeah. So Santa has been in trouble all over the world. He's faced challenges. 1920s in the Soviet Union, Christmas itself was banned for years. There was a sort of wave of anti-Christmas sentiment all the way through Soviet Russia. One school put on a play where fictional characters were expelled as non-Soviet elements. Cinderella was tried for betraying the working class, and Father Frost was accused of spying on people down their chimneys. And it wasn't until 1937 that Father Frost, or Dead Morris, was allowed to return, but he has to wear a blue coat so that we don't think he's the Western.
Because he works at Pontins.
Yeah, right. It's rather like the Puritans under Oliver Cromwell and in parts of the United States when the forefathers arrived. They followed Oliver Cromwell's idea that you didn't have Christmas at all. It was seen as popish excess. So carol singing was seen as a political statement. People used to do secret carol singing. Wow. In fact, I think 1644, the Act of Parliament came in banning Christmas entirely until the restoration of the monarchy, which is 1660. So there's a long period of time, nearly 2 decades, where we don't have any Christmas at all in this country.
People that get together and do secret carol singing.
Yes.
Ding dong merrily on.
They love Silent Night.
In the 1930s, Mexico's Ministry of Education decided that children shouldn't learn about Santa Claus anymore, but gifts should be given by an old Mesoamerican god, Quetzalcoatl, who takes the form of a feathered snake. I mean, all due respect to Mesoamerican culture and everything, I'm not sure this is the one for the kids, because this guy burnt himself to death out of shame after getting drunk and having sex with his sister.
I mean, it's Christmas. We've all had a drink.
I know. Right, it's time for another socially distanced record attempt, specially created for us by Guinness World Records, and we are going to do the most Christmas crackers pulled by an individual in 30 seconds. OK, the number to beat is 20. Craig is here to judge again. Alan and Justin, you're going to be taking this one on. So there's an important condition, isn't there, Craig, that we have to be able to hear the bang of each cracker, is that right?
Yeah, each cracker has to crack, so we'll count them backstage to make sure each of the papers
has actually gone.
Loaded. Yeah.
OK, so you may put your crackers out on a table in front of you. Oh, that's my boy. So I don't know what your technique's going to be. Are you going to have
loosen
them
them all over
standing?
Is it one person doing
One
this?
person pulling the crackers.
Do we have to do one at once?
Is that right, Craig?
Yeah, one cracker at a time.
One cracker at a time, yeah.
Do you have to read all the jokes and put all the hats on?
Oh, wait a minute, because all the gifts might fly out, I'm just going to put
Good
on...
to wear goggles. Good idea.
Because, honestly, a pack of playing cards... OK, I've got my safety glasses.
Come on, Al.
Right. Hand over to Craig.
OK, so start with your hands behind your back, please.
Do you want to change how you've got them, darling?
I'm not going to do 20 in 30 seconds, Sandy.
Yes, you are. I've got every faith in
No,
you.
I think this is a perfect layout.
OK.
Just use both hands.
Have you got everything ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
OK.
Can I just say, Sandy,
Yes.
I'm psyched for this.
OK, good.
Yeah.
So this one, you have to stop when the music does.
OK.
Craig?
OK, you have 30 seconds in 3, 2, 1, go.
1, 2.
Go! 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 Nice technique.
13, 14, 15, 16.
You got this, Justin.
Stop!
I feel alive. I feel giddy.
But look at
The
that.
smell of gunpowder.
Look at that. That could have had my eye out. There are nail clippers.
Environmentally, this is a disaster as well.
It smells incredible.
What
really
did Father
good.
Christmas do when he went speed dating?
He pulled a
He
cracker.
pulled a cracker!
How do you know when Santa's in the room?
Oh, I don't know.
Because the residents of Dijon have hung and burnt him.
Right, we'll bring the news to you as soon as we have it as to whether or not the record has been broken, but it was looking pretty good, I think. What happened to the turkey at Charles Dickens' last Christmas?
If it was his last Christmas,
Yes.
did it kill Charles Dickens?
Oh, no.
Attacked him in the kitchen
yeah.
and cooked him on a medium heat for however long. 3 hours.
No.
He had indigestion.
No.
Salmonella.
It never turned up.
He should have ordered one of them geese. They come really fast.
That's much quicker.
Yeah.
So here's what happened. The turkey was on its way to him, and the train carriage, which it was in, burnt down somewhere near Reading. And so the pieces of turkey, it burnt, but not so much that you couldn't eat it, and they were sold off, portions of it, for 6p a portion to the people of Reading.
I think that's the world's first pop-up.
Yes, yes, you're quite right.
There's a thing about Dickens, though. He was, I mean, obviously a great writer and everything else we know about. But it's funny you talk about because he was an innovative chef as well. He was one of the first people in this country to use herbs. He was very specific about the herbs he used.
Are you serious?
Yeah, because he said it was the best of time, the worst of time.
Is this not the point in a Christmas gathering where somebody goes, "You bastard"? That's very good, darling. I did not see that coming. That was very good. The £30 turkey was not the biggest Christmas present he ever received. In 1864, he was given an entire Swiss chalet as a gift from an actor friend called Charles Fechter.
I bet he guessed.
Yeah.
When he unwrapped it.
Well, it came in 58 separate boxes designed for self-assembly, and the instructions were in French.
Like a puzzle as well,
Yes,
isn't it?
he had no idea. Eventually, he had to hire a stage carpenter to help him build it.
Is that it?
Yes.
I put our table together at home, and it was fine, you know. It was meant to be a chest of drawers. But... That's the job.
He used to work in it in the summer, and the top floor is where he wrote his last works. But he also lined it with mirrors because he was a tremendous performer, and he liked to try out his performances.
The only thing I've ever read of his is Mickey's Christmas Carol.
Yeah. OK. The Dickensian way to roast a turkey is to stick it on a train and set the train on fire. Do you ever get Christmas cards from people but have no idea who they are? Has that ever happened?
The worst Christmas card I ever got wasn't a Christmas card, it was a note came through the post, said, we've got some post for you, but the person's not paid enough for it. So I had to go to the post office and pay £1.50 for a Christmas card from someone who came to my house the next day for Christmas lunch.
Bastard. That's a rotten thing. Have a look at some Christmas cards that you've got under the desk. Now, Chris, let me tell you about your card.
I own it.
Yes, so one of the elves spent ages writing it in Braille for you.
Oh, my God, there's Braille in it. I don't read Braille.
Amazingly, I've been
Helping yourself here, right?
I mean, if we're honest, it's just dots, isn't it? No, I'm not a very good blind person, but that's very thoughtful. I mean,
Yeah, they did
God knows
try.
what it says.
No, what does yours say?
Mine says Merry Christmas from Phil and Joyce.
OK, and you two?
Mine says, warmest wishes this festive season, Dr. and Mrs. Kunz. Christmas comes but once a year.
Yeah. OK, so yours, Chris and Alan, yours say Phil and Joyce, and yours say Dr. and Mrs. Kunz. So this has actually been tried. There were two sociologists from Brigham Young University called Philip Kunz, which is where the name comes from, and Michael Woolcott, and they sent out 578 Christmas cards to random addresses in the United States to see how many people would write back. It was really impressive. 1 person in 5 sent Christmas greetings in return, as if they knew who the person was. And what they discovered was you got better results if you sent out a higher status card. So if you signed it, Dr. and Mrs. Kunz, you got a 26% return. Phil and Joyce, just 15%. But some people sent back letters that were 3 or 4 pages long. And a few people kept sending cards for 15 years. This particular study was in 1975. They tried it again in 2015 and only got replies from 2% of recipients, so it has changed. Anybody else remember another R-based feature of Christmas cards, which is the round robin?
Yes.
We still get them.
Yeah, you get letters from... Yeah, it doesn't... I mean, I don't want to put my family down, but
No,
we're
don't.
scum. But we don't... There's none of that. And Johnny's gone to university, and we're more likely to get, you know, Gary's not gone to prison this year, so that's something, you know.
Well, my old friend, the writer Simon Hoggart, who used to present the news quiz, he used to collect examples of them. I love this one. My ears ringing with praise for Jake from his parent-teacher meeting, I got home to find Emily opening a letter to say she'd won a place at Oxford. I mean, you'd want to vomit, wouldn't you? You'd just want to vomit. Now, what was the Immaculate Conception? Yes.
The Immaculate Conception is when the Virgin Mary
Yes.
became pregnant with the Holy Spirit.
No. Lots of people think it's to do with the virgin birth. It has nothing to do with the virgin birth of Jesus. So whose birth is it to do with?
Is it Mary's birth?
It is to do with Mary's birth. So Catholics believe that she was conceived and born without original sin, which, apart from Adam and Eve, would make her unique, I think, in history. So it doesn't mean she was born by virgin birth. It means that she could go on to be Christ's mother because she didn't have any original sin. So immaculate just means not stained. Macula in Latin is for stain or blemish. So according to the Church, she never committed a single sin in her entire life. This is a marvellous painting by Leonardo, and that's her mother in the background there, St. Anne. But it was officially made part of the Catholic doctrine by Pope Pius IX in 1854. At exactly the same time, in fact, the First Vatican Council, when they made the Pope infallible.
Can't believe he's front cover of Vanity Fair.
I know, that does seem extraordinary, doesn't it?
I like that thing he's doing now. It's like, it's after Christmas lunch.
Yeah.
And he's going, it was me.
Yes.
Sorry, too many spells.
In 2006, there was a British insurance firm that had to withdraw cover from 3 Virgin sisters in Inverness. They had taken out insurance against getting pregnant in the event of a second coming of Christ. If one of them had given birth as a virgin, they stood to gain £1 million to help with the childcare.
Insurance companies don't pay out with acts of God, though.
Well, I know, but the burden of proof that they had been impregnated by the Holy Ghost was most specifically resting with them in the policy. They eventually withdrew it due to what can only be described as adverse headlines. Of course, that got further headlines, my favourite of which is Sisters Lose Second Coming Cover.
There's a withdrawal joke in there as well.
Yeah, there is. Yeah. In 2018, the Church of England commissioned a poll to find the nation's ideal mother. Anybody?
You?
Is it Victoria Beckham?
No, she wasn't on the list. I can tell you that the Virgin Mary placed 8th.
Willoughby.
Princess Diana. It's an extraordinary list. Mary Poppins is higher than the Virgin Mary. Marge Simpson.
Mary Poppins isn't a mother.
Yeah,
She was a nanny.
I know, but I'm just telling you, the Queen, Michelle Obama, Mother Teresa, and people who put my own mother. But there were 4 fictitious women on a list of 10, and Princess Diana came first.
You'd have the Mother Hubbard.
Yeah, Mother Hubbard would have been good, yeah. The Immaculate Conception is actually a bit of an inaccurate misconception. We have a news flash, everybody. I have the results of the Christmas cracker pulling.
I'm actually quite excited.
OK.
I am.
I can tell you that Justin got 30, with 4 that didn't crack. Alan got 35 with 7 that didn't crack, which makes Alan the new world record!
My kids are going to love this. Am I going to be in the thing?
Darling, it's even better. You're going to get a certificate. You're going to get a certificate as a world record holder.
I have never been as disappointed.
I now know the first line of your obituary, Alan. That's quite exciting.
And if the BBC had paid for a better quality of cracker, you'd have had 42.
That's a puller.
Yeah. Anyway, congratulations. I'm proud to know you. Now it's time to get onto our tea tray and slide down the icy slopes of general ignorance. Fingers on buzzers, please. What kind of room was Jesus born in?
Stable.
Just not got winner written all over you tonight, have you, Justin?
No.
I'm so sorry, darling. No, not a stable. What else?
Premier Inn. Oh, they loved it.
A
Holiday Inn.
travel lodge?
So there is no mention in the Bible whatsoever of Jesus being born in a stable, and also the idea that there was no room at the inn seems entirely wrong. So the Greek word, which traditionally is translated as inn, is kataluma. It actually means something more like guest room. So we know perfectly well the Bible states that Joseph had relatives in Bethlehem. The likeliest explanation is that kataluma refers to there being no space in the guest room at his relative's house. And he was born in a manger, we do know that. So it's a feeding trough, that is mentioned in the Bible. But that probably just means he was born in the ground floor living area. You often brought the animals in to keep it nice and warm and so on. So the chances are that he was actually just born in a crowded family house. If you actually get a genuine inn mentioned in the Bible, it's a different word, it's pandokion, which means place where strangers are welcome.
I really look forward to your Christmas sermon.
Yes. In fact, the only Gospels that mention the Nativity are Matthew and Luke, and they have completely different versions. Matthew mentions the wise men visiting, Luke mentions the shepherds.
John talks about watching The Great Escape at 4 o'clock.
Mark and John, the other Gospels, don't mention the Nativity at all. But here is the extraordinary thing about the Bible, is that women in the Bible speak 1% of the time.
Be amazing, wouldn't it? It's been lovely being on the show.
No, women hardly say a word, including the Virgin Mary, who must have been rather surprised by the entire thing.
She didn't say anything.
She says about 108 words in the entire... And none of them are... Really? What? Now, what word beginning with C describes people who make shoes?
Absolutely not cobbler.
Correct, not cobblers. Cobblers don't make shoes, what do they do?
Fix.
They mend them, they're absolutely right.
A cordwainer.
It is a cordwainer. You're absolutely
Wow.
right.
No, I'll tell you why I know that. Because my school was sponsored by loads of livery companies.
Yes.
And the cordwainers were one of the livery companies that sponsored them.
They are one of the oldest guilds since 1131, the cordwainers.
And they were in Hackney.
Oh, that's very impressive, darling. And do you know why cordwainers? Do you know why that name?
No.
No. OK. They dealt with Cordovan leather, so it's a specific kind of leather from Spanish goats. Cobblers were actually prevented by law from making new shoes. They were allowed to collect old shoes and cut them apart and use the leather to make cheap second-hand shoes, but they were not allowed to make new ones. Why do we say cobblers for nonsense? Does anybody know, in rhyming slang? It's cobblers' awls. An awl is a tool. It's a sort of a pointed tool that pierces holes in leather. So cobblers' awls.
Balls.
There you go.
Is it?
Yeah.
Ah.
Yeah.
So what's a cobbler like a pudding? Like a peach cobbler?
Why the connection of the two words? I'm
Yeah.
not sure.
Is it because it's cobbled together?
It might be related to the word cobelle, which means wooden bowl, and therefore has an entirely different origin.
Made out of shoe pastry.
Yeah. I want you to think back 2,000 years to a group of shepherds washing their socks by night under a deep red sky. What did the sky tell them about the weather forecast?
Reds.
Justin.
Red sky at night,
Angel Delight.
shepherd's delight.
Is correct.
Oh, it's correct.
Yes.
Oh.
Why, did you having a little seizure?
Yeah, I thought I was going to get the... You're an idiot!
In fact, it is a very useful thing. Red sky at night, shepherd's delight, is an entirely useful prognostication. So you get a red sky at night when dust and small particles are trapped in the atmosphere by high pressure. So a red sky at sunset could well mean that high pressure is moving in from the west, and if that's the case, the next day is usually going to be dry and very pleasant. Conversely, if you get a red sky in the morning, that's often because the high-pressure system has passed on and the wet and windy low-pressure system is coming behind it.
Red sky in the morning, sailor's warning.
Yeah, all of those things. But if you're in Australia, just a word of caution to our Australian viewers, the north of Australia is the opposite. So it has tropical weather patterns.
Also, you've got poisonous spiders.
There's that. Red sky at night might just be right. Who wrote Oliver Twist and Nicholas Nickleby?
Oliver Twist. That's not right. So these are kind of, what, spoofy Charles Dickens? Type?
Yes, Justin.
Is it Dick Charles?
It might as well have been, is
Yeah.
the truth of it. He was so popular, it's our second Dickens question, because he's such a kind of iconic figure at Christmas. There were loads of knockoff versions of his most famous works. So there was Barnaby Budge, David Copperfull, Martin Guzzlewit, The Penny Pickwick, and these all sold phenomenally well.
But were they actually the story?
Well, the story was written by a man called Thomas Peckett Prest. I have to say, Thomas's versions were a little bit sexier. So Nancy in Oliver Twist, renamed as Poll Smiggins, has let's call it a more sexually explicit backstory. So they're a little bit racier. But there was no law stopping anybody selling these kind of knockoffs until the Copyright Act of 1842.
Sounds like the modern day equivalent would be if you only watched the porn version of films instead of the originals.
Yes, yeah, exactly, yes.
David Ryan's private.
There you go.
Tale of Two Cities.
David Ryan's private.
Goodwill humping.
Right, time now for our final record attempt. The fastest time to dress up as Santa Claus.
Whoa.
OK? So you can see I've already got part of it on. I was going to do this myself, but one of the conditions is that you have to start out in your underwear. So I've asked my son Theo to do it for me. He looks so much better in his unmentionables than I do.
Oh, he's not wearing your underwear?
No, he's not wearing my underwear. The time to beat is 30.94 seconds. I'm going to hand over to Craig for the last time. Any rules about this, Craig?
It's approved, Guinness World Records approved, Santa outfit. You know, you have to put it all on exactly as it's presented. And when you're done, hands up and say stop or ho, 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 or whatever you... Stop is quicker. You have 30.94 seconds to beat, so I'll give you a 3, 2, 1.
OK.
Come on.
And then at the end...
We're burning.
Burn it.
Ready?
Can I just ask Alan to give me some radio commentary on this?
Certainly. Certainly.
Over to Alan in the commentary box.
He's standing up near some Santa Claus.
Are we ready?
Yes.
Yeah.
3, 2, 1, go. So you had 30.94 to beat, and you achieved 28.
Is that it? Has he done it?
He's done it.
Are you proud, Sam?
Oh, both my boys, Alan and Theo. This has been a very important Christmas for me.
You're going to have the smuggest round robin.
I know, right? I've only just recovered from Alan's world record. This is the point where I traditionally do the scores, but it's Christmas, so everyone is a winner! That's it from Justin, Holly, Chris, Alan and me, and Merry Christmas to you all, you filthy animals. Good night.